messaging, when you see Kristi Noem, for example, with these folks that they're accusing of being gang members, we have not seen what it is they're accused of. We don't know who they are. And then seeing someone on the street who's a student arrested, broad daylight, cameras everywhere. What's the point of this?
It's what Gretchen was saying earlier. You know, there's a base, a MAGA base. There's the people who voted for President Trump. The number one issue was immigration. That was the number one issue, was according to polling, was migrants, migrants, migrants. So here it is.
It was actually the economy, but it was the second. Immigration was very close. It was 1 and 2.
So here it is. We got these really, really bad dudes. We did what we said 90 days into our administration last. Look at how bad these are. Look at how tattooed those. Look at how tattooed those shirts are.
You're okay with that?
Look at how tattooed those guys are. They look like they're scary guys behind bars.
Right. But here's the problem. If they,
Did you see them, Gretchen? That's what
right,
they look like in there. They were tattooed from.
Hold on. So here is the problem. You are an attorney. No. I mean, look, you're an attorney.
Wow. So the loss of due process is okay to you?
The people who voted for President Trump in Middle America, I think that they would see a bunch. There was dozens of young men tattooed from the top of their head to the bottom of their knees. I think they would look at those people like a threat. Like if I was alone at 8 o'clock at night and I would see them.
Hold on.
This is what the administration, the image they're putting out there. These are not people I want to see when I come out of a Broadway show or when I come out of church. So they're behind bars. They're behind bars. And if there's people who are this is what you're asking me, what the imagery is from the Trump administration. What is the messaging? This is their messaging.
Yes, I agree with that part of it.
You voted for us to do this, and we have done it. That's the messaging. You can talk to my esteemed colleagues if it's right or if it's wrong. The question I was asked was, what is the messaging? That I wasn't asked that question.
Weigh in, though?
No, because
I'm interested in your opinion as a lawyer.
She's the host. She's the host.
Wait. So
Sarah,
when you sit,
hold on,
when you sit there,
what I need to have happen, I will ask you the question. I'm letting you finish your point. That point has been made. That it is for show. That you think that people will look at these people and see the tattoos and say, oh, they've got to be criminals. So the question is, as a lawyer, do you think people? By the way, Pete Hegseth has a bunch of tattoos. Is he a criminal? Okay, but it doesn't matter how the tattoos
those are
and what
tattoos.
they're...
Let me ask you, young man, how many did you represent someone from the Crips gang this week? Because I don't think so. I did. Don't tell me about gangs and tattoos and gang signs. It's the world I live in at 120 Simon Street and 107th Street in Manhattan. So don't be schooling me about gangs and tattoos. It wasn't a tattoo that says mom. These are all tattoos that say how many people they've killed.
Okay.
How many people they've killed.
Okay. Here's the
evidence.
No,
hold on.
It is messaging.
Is a tattoo
messaging. Of course it is.
A tattoo is evidence.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You don't think a prosecutor is allowed? You don't think a prosecutor is allowed to have someone show their tattoos?
Look at his tattoos. He
How
must be
many years of
guilty.
law school did you go to?
Get me, Mom.
Of course.
Mom, can you pick me up?
Are you kidding me?
By the way,
hold on a second.
Where's the New York State Bar?
It is absolutely admissible.
Hold on.
Wow.
Order in the court.
Thank you.
All right. Talking over each other doesn't work. Talking over each other doesn't work. No one can hear what you're saying. You are making the argument that having a tattoo can make someone look like a criminal. Okay, that's the argument you are having. It sometimes is admissible in court. But you're also making the argument that because they have tattoos, they must be criminal. Is that what you're arguing?
No.
It sounded like that's what you were arguing.
I'm saying the imaging on television that Trump is trying to put forth and the White House is trying to put forth is you elected us to clean up the killings, the gang members.
Right, but if they are not gang members, then that's a problem, and they haven't been convicted. Essie, go.
Why are we still doing this?
Essie,
This is non-process.
She's the host.
This is nonsense. What's interesting here is the Trump justification for rounding these people up without due process is the Alien Immigration Act
from 1798.
Right. He is saying that essentially we are being invaded. It is a war. That is how he's justifying this without due process. I'm not a lawyer, but I know what due process is, and it's important. The thing that's funny about this now is if it's a war and you're doing this under the auspices of war, Kristi Noem just broke the Geneva Convention because you're not allowed to pose in front of prisoners of war. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot just say, well, these are just detainees now. They're not our problem. They're in some El Salvadorian prison, so I'm going to take a photo op to look like I'm playing at politics, and say that we are at war from illegal invasions of people that we don't even know. We haven't named them. We are just disappearing them like Russia, like Syria, like every bad regime and actor out there. We're just disappearing people now.
They may have probable cause to believe that criminal activity is afoot. It means they can pick them up, but they can't be putting them on a plane and send them out of the country. They have to be detaining them and putting them in front of the appropriate judge, whoever that may be, a federal judge, an immigration judge. And yes, of course, they should be due process.
All right. We've cleared that up like mud. Coming up, President Trump is looking to the nation's historical museums, demanding they